Today's video is brought to you by my wonderful Patreon supporters. If you've been enjoying this journey so far of eerie urban legends and creepy creativity, there is more over on my Patreon. Over there, I share behind the scenes content. I also give my members early access to videos before they ever go public. And every month, members get a new postcard designed by me that showcases a different urban legend from every state in the United States. You'll also get a shout out, just like this, on my videos as long as you are a member. Your support keeps me making videos like this and also just supports the project in general. And that's basically with every attraction at a time. So, if you'd like to be part of this creepy little corner of the internet, come and join the folklore enthusiasts. The link to my Patreon will be in the description below. Thank you so much for even considering becoming a member. Now, let's get into today's video. Okay. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jules, and I'm designing a theme park based on United States folklore and cryptids called Urban Legends America. For today's video, we're gonna dive into another piece of concept work based on the second mood board that I did at the beginning of this little series. If you haven't checked out that, along with the other two videos that I did based on the first mood board, I suggest you watch the mood board video, and then if you want to, you can check out the other two. But today we're working on the second one. Each of the mood boards are based on different attractions, and so for this concept work, I wanted to do a gift shop. This gift shop is based on the urban legend of the Woods Devil in New Hampshire. Okay, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into this concept work. Okay, so here's the mood board we're starting this off with. I also will be using some inspiration images to help me out. I wanted to do this isometric 3D look into the shop. I like the layout of these along with some added detailed items on the side. I also have these concept pieces to help me give an idea of a gift shop. And using all that as a base, I started thinking about what kind of story this shop could tell. While it functions as a retail space, Ranger's Resupply is really a lore hub. Guests might catch snippets of Ranger radio chatter reporting strange sightings or spot the oddities our merchant has collected over the years. Subtle environmental storytelling helps the space feel like a place where the legend is still unfolding. Tucked away among the towering trees of New Hampshire lies a strange and unsettling outpost. Ranger's Resupply is more than just a stop for souvenirs. It's a tribute to old New England cabins in a place steeped in conspiracy and mystery. Every detail is touched by the dark presence of the Woods Devil, making the experience feel as eerie as it is immersive. Deep in the dense forests of New Hampshire, where towering trees whisper ancient secrets, lives a solitary merchant named George. His weathered cabin, nestled far off the beaten path, stands timeless. Its sturdy beams and rustic charm is a reminder of the old New England cabins that have withstood generations. George wasn't always a recluse. Raised on stories passed down through the years, he grew fascinated by the mysteries of the woods and the legends whispered around campfires. Drawn to the wilderness, he sought to understand what others dismissed as mere folklore. One day, deep in the forest, George caught a glimpse of the elusive Woods Devil. A tall, lanky creature covered in matted gray fur, with a long face shaped somewhat like a moose or a horse. Instead of aggression, the Woods Devil showed only shyness, freezing in place and disappearing behind the thick trunks of trees whenever noticed. Its haunting scream, echoing through the valley, is its only warning, a sound that sends even the boldest hikers retreating. Since the encounter, George has made it his mission to gather stories and artifacts tied to the Woods Devil, turning his cabin into a unique shop filled with curiosities, sketches, trinkets, and items inspired by the forest's greatest secret. Visitors come not just for souvenirs, but to experience a connection to the unseen presence that lingers just beyond sight. Though George keeps mostly to himself, those who visit leave with a story, one whispered on the wind, carrying the mysterious call of the woods devil through the trees. This outpost carries the rugged colonial charm of an 18th century frontier cabin. Its frame, a patchwork of weathered stone and worn, weather-beaten wood, bears the marks of time, surfaces molted and scratched as if touched by countless seasons. Step inside, and the cabin feels warm and lived in, centered around an old-fashioned cast-iron stove that casts flickering shadows across rough-hewn beams. Above, lanterns hang from the ceiling, their soft glow guiding visitors deeper into the space. The air is thick with the earthy scent of dried herbs, bundles of rosemary, thyme, and lavender, once believed to ward off evil spirits. Among these traditional protectors hang newer charms, like pouches of sea salt thought to cleanse the air of lingering dark forces. The walls are lined with maps, some ancient, charting colonial trails long forgotten, others more recent, marked with warnings of mysterious disappearances and sightings of the legendary woods devil. Visitors find themselves drawn to old journals resting on a small desk, their leather covers cracked and worn by time. Nearby, a vintage radio hums softly, its static carrying an eerie quality. Some say the faint whispers drifting through the crackle aren't from any known station. Could they be the voices of those lost deep in the woods? Okay, so let's talk about some merch that would actually be in this gift shop, basically. So I'm thinking about everyday items that you would generally find in a gift shop. So you would have your hoodies, your hats, pins and patches, journals or sketchbooks, mugs, and water bottles. Any clothing, I do want there to be some high quality items, so things would be embroidered rather than printed on. So I think that would mean that some of the artwork would be a little more minimal, so that technically would probably be like the silhouette of the woods devils that focus on the long limbs, or just specifically use a gray embroidery so that it reflects the color of the fur or the texture of the fur, and maybe even that distinctive elongated face, just to set it apart from any other like Bigfoot equivalent. When it comes to the enamel pins in the patches, these would probably be like general collectible pins of forest symbols, ranger badges, encrypted motifs like the woods devil shadow. I really like what Disney does with like the pin trading, and I think it would be really nice that each gift shop that's in these areas would be able to have really unique items that you couldn't find in one or two of the same gift shops in another part of the park. So when it comes to the journals or the sketchbooks, basically, again, we're talking about different forest themed covers, or even like a physical like wood grain cover, or even like leather bound nice hefty journals that also have like a woods devil watermark either inside or branded onto the cover. I think those always have a little bit more of a high quality than just regular printed paper or cardboard covers. So when it comes to the mugs and the water bottles, basically I do want the mugs to reflect the area, so these wouldn't be white porcelain or ceramic. I really wouldn't want that to be kind of the generic way of doing mugs. I would actually want them to be more reflective of where they are, so a little more handmade, or more of like those tin style mugs. And then when it comes to the water bottles, maybe more versions of like the Stanley or anything like that would also have reflections of the woods devil, or just forest themed patterns, in order to, you know, obviously stay in theme with the gift shop. Everyday merch would also be featuring general themed merchandise, But for the sake of the video, I specifically wanted to highlight what would be in theme for the gift shop and not just be like, oh yeah, it's shot glasses and hoodies that reflect the park, because that's kind of like a given. If I was doing the general like branding of the park, then I would kind of go into detail for those things, but not for today's video. Okay, so with the everyday stuff, we're actually going to go into two other versions, which is story connected items and then more one-of-a-kind items that are only going to be available from this gift shop within this part of the park. So for the story connected items, I wanted to do a handmade wood carving that would actually be the representation of the Woods Devil, and then each one would kind of be accompanied by a handwritten note that is supposed to be George's handwriting and more of a thing that George does that he sells on his own in this resupplier. So then we have a ranger map of sightings. So this is just an illustrated map showing George's personal notes in sketches and all the markings that he would do for the sightings that he would write down for the Woods Devil, and sounds that were reported around the forest with cryptid symbols and faded notes, basically almost a recreation of some of the stuff that you can find within the gift shop that obviously wouldn't just be merchandise items, but just something to come home with that you would see on the decorations and stuff. And then you have a miniature footprint cast keychain. I thought that this was kind of a fun, cheeky way of giving ode to some Bigfoot sighting stuff where they always have a casting of their foot and use that as evidence of Bigfoot. So this would obviously be part of the decoration, but again, would be available as something that you guys can take home. And that's what I meant by, like, you know, a reflection of his items that he decorates with and taking one of those curiosities home. One-of-a-kind items would be the merchant's journal, which is again a replica of the decorations that are actually in the gift shop. So it's a handcrafted book that replicates George's journal that's filled with the sketches, cryptid lore, and notes about his encounters. And it's just, I think, a perfect keepsake for fans of folklore and mystery, or somebody that just truly enjoys this kind of area. The Ranger's Resupply isn't supposed to be just a shop. I wanted it to be a gateway into the heart of the Woods Devil mystery, and every nook and cranny of this cabin invites visitors to step into the story of those who believed the Woods Devil might be lurking just beyond the trees. So you could take something home, and you're not just carrying a souvenir. You're carrying a whisper of the forest and a reminder that some legends never truly leave. Alrighty, that's enough of me yapping. I will put some last bit details and then also kind of clean this up digitally, and we'll get to the reveal and then my final thoughts. So let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about final thoughts. I put off this concept for a really, really long time, and I think it came out fine. I really liked using the colored pencils this time just because it gave me a little more control, especially since it's such a small area. My favorite part of the entire drawing is actually the side that shows some of the stuff that would actually be in the gift shop, or things that you would be able to acquire in the gift shop. I think it helps me kind of see this space as this like isometric style. However, I don't think it does well in translating like a concept and having somebody sit in it and look at these, or sit in it and basically feel like you're experiencing this space. I think it comes off very architectural. As much as I enjoy it as a experimental style, I'm starting to miss like actually showing scenes and concepts that make you feel like you're in that area. So again, I think I'm gonna be moving away from this journal type style and then go back to what I was doing before. Like I've said 1,000 times, of just like, you know, a scene of the attraction. I felt I've needed to do this kind of style because of the sheer size of my sketchbook. I feel like I wanted to really like show more details and kind of have more of a journalistic style. And I've been talking about that with like half of the concept works that I've been doing so far. This is really, I think, the last piece of it. I'm kind of getting bored of it. So I think we're gonna move past that and go back to what I was doing before. And I found that I really do like a tighter space, so a smaller sketchbook. As much as I wanted to fill out my big one and use what I have, I just, funny enough, feel so restricted in this type of size. It's not my favorite, but I do think I do think it translates my vision of this type of gift shop, especially since it's such a cluttered space. And I really feel like that was translated. And I really think it's like a nice, fun, different type of style. But I think I've moved away for too long from what I was doing before. So I kind of want to go back to my roots. So. All right, y'all, and with that, today's video comes to an end. Stay tuned for my next video. I've actually been doing ambiance videos in between the concept work ones so that you just kind of get a feeling of, yes, this is the concept work, but here's also the ambiance of that area. So next week, we're gonna be tackling the ambiance of this gift shop. And then on to the next video, we're going to be tackling the last of this trio, which is the Skunk Ape. If you like the music in my videos, I highly suggest that you check out the Absinthetic Orchestra. I'll have links to all their work in the description below. More from me will also be in the description, and that's where you can find links to find the stills of today's video all over my socials. Alrighty, if you really like today's video, please consider giving this a like, possibly subscribing, and maybe even sharing it. All right, thank you for lasting this long and watching today's video. I'll see you later.